I wanted to start with why this is so blue. And it's not a blue Monday, you know. It's blue because we have winter like this. So it's cold in Estonia. Last week we had minus 12 Celsius and a lot of snow and ice, as you see. So that's why my presentation colors are also blue, because we have winter here. Yes, very shortly about me. I work at Tallinn University these days. Actually, it's almost 10 years I've been working at Tallinn University teaching youth work. I'm the head of the master program. And yes, I was there developing a master program. And also I was there doing the comparison how our master curricula compares to level 7 occupational standard as well. But I also teach on the level 6 and on the bachelor level as well, some courses. I have a long history working at Tallinn city government as the head of youth work department. And I actually came to university with a mission. I saw that although Tallinn, the capital, in a much better position than smaller places in Estonia, we had the quality issue with youth workers, and I was really struggling with that I was trying to sell youth work, you know, in a way to local politicians that we need to raise the salaries of the youth workers, we need that, we need development resources. But then I was always knowing that I'm a bit lying, because I'm not telling that the quality is bad in some cases. And this was the reason why I came to university teaching youth work. My own background is actually in social work, because we don't have a PhD in youth work yet. So I did it in social work. I'm also a long-term member of Estonian Association of Youth Workers. And yes, that's where the non-formal learning and non-formal trainings also come in for youth workers. So I find it always interesting to link different things I do, because in general they have more influence than if you have more you know, links to the field, to the research, to the politicians, when you actually gain more for youth work. Now I understand that maybe Estonian context is more similar to Moldova, as we share this post-Soviet experience, and it has to be mentioned. I want to open the context so you know why we did the way how we did. That actually in the end of past century, sounds terrible actually, but in the end of last century, you know, we started rapidly develop all fields, including youth work. And I was just thinking today about some of our experiences when we were so enthusiastic to take over some of the other countries' experiences, especially from UK or English-speaking countries, as youth work is well established in these countries. Today, I know that sometimes you can't directly take over the system. You have to adapt it to the context. But anyway, we've got very rapid youth work development. For example, already in 1993, it was written in Local Government Organization Act that this is the responsibility of municipalities to organize youth work. Yes, the government doesn't give any specific money to organize the youth work. So the level is very uneven, because every local government has to find the resources in their own budget. Of course, there are some European programs and other resources which come through national level, but for the main job, for the salaries of the youth workers, for keeping your youth center, the local government has to find the budget itself. In 1992, actually, even before that, we already established the first youth work curricula at Tallinn Pedagogical College, which was a separate institution. And it was first on the vocational education level. And in some years, I think maybe in 5, I don't remember correctly, it changed to applied higher educational level, and in Estonia it's equal to BA. So also right now at Tallinn University we have applied higher education level, but they get the bachelor degree and also level 6 on the diploma. And it was a very long way. We waited for many years actually to open master program, because it's not always easy to convince university, especially university, that we need to open new master programs. So we were lucky that in 2015 we were able. That was a period of about 2 years of consultations with employers, youth workers, academics, non-formal trainers, what we want in this master program, and it's called youth work management. So it's more oriented towards managers, developers, researchers, and trainers who work in youth work field. Well, we had the Youth Work Act. I have linked it. You can look it up. It's also in English. Yeah, it has been revised. In 2010, it was revised. I think about 30% of it was changed, but not the basic things. We also established association. It was different name back then, but also a long history, you see, with association. And in 2002, 2 other very important umbrella organizations were established. And I would say that this is the key, one of the key elements of lobbying for youth work, when you have a really strong umbrella organizations who work together and you know, have a same message for the politicians before the elections and also in between time. I think this has to be mentioned. And then occupational standard for youth workers and code of ethics was accepted in 2006, but actually the process of discussing and consulting about it started already in 2002. So it took some time. And we had some youth work forums, some consultations in the regions of Estonia with umbrella organizations, and it took some time, and it even took some time before Estonian Youth Work Center started with a process. I think it took 2 years, so it was already in the middle, because we revised the occupational standards every 5 years. It was in the middle already, but soon it had to be revised. And then I've been involved in revising the standards. I wasn't developing the first version of the Code of Ethics. So what is maybe important, and I have linked it, that in 2008 we had the Professions Act, which describes the qualification system and the system of occupational standards in Estonia. And with this, I go that we have this Estonian Qualification Authority, which was also actually established in 2001, and who did the lobbying for this Professional Act, so that this qualification framework, relying on the European qualification framework, can be really systemized and working in Estonian. And now we jump to the occupational standard level 4. When chatting with Dee about it, we actually compared some of the things. And Dee said that it's closer to level 5 in Ireland. And the news are that during next year, level 4 will cease to exist in Estonia, and we are going to have level 5, 6, and 7 in youth work. So that is it. Let me maybe put the link on the chat, so you can open it in your computers and see in more detail, because I really have taken only the main description of the level 4, but it works with young people, youth groups, also with other stakeholders, of course, with parents in the community, other specialists. It's very much focused, and actually also level 6 is also very much focused on what you do with young people and youth groups, and the main focus is on non-formal learning. So it's much about supporting the learning of young people in a different environment than the school. How you work, what methods you work, what topics you work with, for example, like mentioned here, entrepreneurship or or actually also environment issues, or some law-abiding behavior, for example, how I think it's phrased, and stuff like this. So it's a lot about how you work with young people, but then also in the level there are things about your own professional development, about cooperating and networking together, and about developing the field. And as you see, and I think somebody already mentioned in the beginning, level 4 works both individually in the team, but it's in some topics they need a supervision of a higher level youth workers. So in level 6 there are competencies that you need to know how to supervise level 4 youth workers, or also volunteers, or also, I don't know, students coming for the field placement, for example. So level 6 has to know how to supervise those who are on the lower level of, it doesn't sound good, but actually it is. When you open this this standard, you see that it has two parts. Part A, which is more descriptive, saying the same things in more structured ways. And level B is actually the indicators, which you need to assess yourself if you know how to do it, if you have skills how to do it, if you have attitudes how to do it. So the real process, as in all quality measurement, is that you first do your own assessment, you evaluate yourself according to these indicators, and you write a portfolio. And then you come to the outer assessment, and you come to the interview. And these days now the process is led by Estonian Association of Youth Workers, who has applied and has gotten the right to be the committee or commission who issues those certificates and leads this process. This right is given for 5 years. For universities, and both our universities who teach youth work, Tallinn University and Tartu University, we have also the right to issue the level quality, the standard level. As I mentioned, on the bachelor, with the bachelor it's level 6 on the diploma, and with the master it's level 7. But to get the right, university has to compare the curricula according to the standard or to indicators, and see if in the courses you actually deal with this knowledge, with this practice, with these values, and so on. So, but as you understand, on the occupational standard level 4, there's no higher education. There's basically everyone can step in, write a portfolio, and go to the interview. And very often people who get the level 4, they have some experience on voluntary work. Maybe they have been scouts, guides, doing something as a volunteer in the youth center, and they want to, improve and maybe even start working. So they apply for the level 4. But what we have noticed, and I've been also doing the interviews with youth workers who apply for level 4, is that it's very uneven. Again, people have very uneven and different experiences, and if they don't get the support, and especially reflecting on their experiences and comparing what they have done, how it translates into the language of a competence, what knowledge I have behind, what skills I need to develop more, or what are my values behind it. They need some support, and that's why I can't go on now. Let me see. Oh, sorry. So Estonian Association of Youth Workers has now done for 2 years almost 1 year long program and has been training for level 4. We call the training Youth Work ABC, and we really are trying to explain not only what we do, but why we do, what are the principles of youth work behind it, what's the legal framework in Estonia, what are the development orientations in youth work in Estonia, what values are there, how to work with young people, especially in the non-formal learning setting. And they also have some, not only learning, they have some practical tasks within this process, and this process ends with portfolio. So basically they are ready to go for the interview, and during this training they have a mentor, more experienced youth worker from the association, who supports them and talks to them and reassures and so on. So this has worked really well. I'll show you the main modules because I don't think I'll have time to explain it too much, but it has 6 modules during, as I said, almost 1 year, a little bit less. So first module is about framework and landscape, about, as I mentioned, legal framework, the basic concepts and values of youth work, the structure of youth work, who are the stakeholders, what kind of organizations we have in Estonia in youth work field. Then we do talk about concepts also. What are the principles of youth work and some theoretical foundations, especially about learning, about group work, about counseling a little bit as well. So we kind of introduce why things are done the way how they are done, or how they should be done. And we talk about the role of the youth worker as well. Then there's perspective on young people, and what are the choices of the youth worker, especially you see the problematic behavior of young people and the choices of youth, and problematic being in quotations marks. How we see young people is very important in youth work. We think if we want to see them as partners and it's an equal partnership, we need to start to explain it already on the level for those who are entering youth work. So the power issues and stuff like this is very important to realize. Then supporting learning in youth work, as I already mentioned, field of action and planning youth work activities, also about international cooperation, some tools about resource planning, budgeting, but also how to use research, how to talk about impact and why youth work is important. And then the 6th module is about professionalism and professional self-development and about the competencies. It has been really successful and good feedback. Of course, these trainings as associations, NGO, depend on the funding. So we don't know if we can continue it next year. I also wrote down, especially regarding the question of, I think Tanya mentioned about Moldova, that there have been some trainings. I think we had actually our association had a project with Moldova. But what you mentioned about training specialists who work on the municipal level, our association also has already the 3rd year coming, special training for those who work as specialists on the municipal youth work level, because as you see, when it's the duty of local government to organize youth work, when those people who are in the position in the municipality become strategically very important, they need to know what youth work is about, why it's good, what it does in the community, who are youth workers, etc., etc. So we are really focusing on that too.